Hey guys, welcome to Northwoods Productions. Today we're going to find a way to make a nice rain cover for my camera. Next weekend I'm going down to Chama for the Cumbres and Toltec Centennial Run. They're doing a special train for Colorado Centennial and the United States. And it's going to be a weekend of hitting a lot of shots and a lot of possible rain. So I want to make sure I have a good cover. What I normally do when I'm rail fanning is I just throw a bag over the thing, and when the train's coming I take it off, film and put it back on, or take the camera down and put it in my bag. But if I'm doing some long shots, maybe zoomed in and it's a couple minute shot, the camera is uncovered and getting rained on the whole time. So I want to have a good cover for my monitor, my camera body, and maybe something for the microphone. I'm not sure how we do that yet. We aren't gonna get the rain sound hitting it, but we're gonna think outside the box, maybe come up with something. That's what we're building today. Hope you enjoy the video. So I'm thinking we'll do maybe a Ziploc bag over the camera body. We'll do something separate over the top. And then my biggest concern is between my mat box here, that edge. If I got this up like this, it's gonna drip right down, just right past the lens. If it's windy, it could possibly get on my lens. So what I've got here is some wide electrical tape. I'm thinking I'm gonna attach it to here and then fold part of it over. So basically create some kind of, it's not sealed, but it'll allow the water to run past the gap and around the backside. So that kind of made a drip edge, but I'm almost thinking it needs to be a little bit longer because it's not laying down. The water's going to sit in there and it might run out the sides, which actually might be just fine. I think I'm actually going to be happy with that. Next thing is I got a 1 gallon. Yeah, that just believes a gallon Ziploc bag. I cut one side out already, so I figure I'll need that to go over. But we're going to take this off, and then I think we're going to cut a square for the shoe mount, and then we're going to have to figure out something where the cords can run through. So I'm probably going to stiffen this edge up with some duct tape, something that where it kind of stays around the front. The other thing I might do is cut the bottom a little bit because of my handle. This also does angle differently, so that might solve it. But the other part of this is I'm going to need a way to attach it so it doesn't blow off. If it's windy, I don't want this thing moving all over the place and flapping or anything like that. So I might cut a little something here for that, and I might do some kind of attachment point around the front. So we got some of this Gorilla Tape. I think I might get a little fancy with it and do a few different sections. So like a short piece of tape to go around the front here, and I'll stop it, allow it to fold a little bit, and then maybe another stiff piece of tape down the side, kind of depending on how it lays. But my main goal is to have it where it's not going to have an air gap or anything like that. If I do a couple pieces, I think I can probably get it to lay the way it makes sense around there. All right, so I've got kind of made it fancy. Might hurt me, but we'll see. So I got one little section that can kind of tuck down like that. And then these two sides come up. I'm thinking now I will do something across to connect to this drip edge so we don't get anything in between. But this little tab there helps hold it on the front of the camera actually. And then thinking some kind of tie down in here to where I can just hold it so it doesn't blow around too much. And honestly, unless it's a real bad downpour, I think that might be pretty good. And then I might cut the bottom off a little bit and cut something up to my handle for my tripod. All right, so I got pretty carried away with it here. We've got now a hole for my handle for the tripod, and then the square for the hot shoe. And man, I think it fits pretty good. I think one of the main things here, especially for rail fanning purposes, is it goes on quickly, comes off quickly. It's not this huge ordeal to where you're gonna miss the train because of it. So I think that sits real nice. I kind of thought about it. I gotta pick some up, but we'll use double-sided, or not double-sided, but sticky Velcro for the front here, and that'll be a nice quick attach once you get everything set. But it sits real nice up here to where that's inside, and this kind of protects the gap, and then the hot shoe is easily accessible. So I think now what we're going to do is put on the upper section and see how our cords are going to be routed. Alright, so it is a pretty funky upper arrangement here, but with the original mount from the microphone to the cold shoe right here on the side of the arm for the monitor, this microphone was too far forward and it actually stuck out in front of the lens to where you could see it, and it was just a little bit too tight. It wasn't arranged nicely. So I don't even know where I found it. I had it laying around, bought it on Amazon a few years ago, but this extension, and it works with all the camera gear, but that allows me to bring it back, and I can angle differently, and I can really, I don't know, it just kind of keeps things out of the way nicely. So let's see, yeah, that goes on pretty well in that square. That stays nicely. So I'm not quite sure still how we're going to do this, but I think the good thing here is with the front being open, I'm able to, so say I have a hole here, I'm able to reach in and plug things in. And that might be sticking out a little bit there, but I'm able to plug things in from the front still. This is long enough and stretchy enough to where I can probably go down through a hole lower and come up. The main thing with that is I want the hole at least here so that if water does come in, it's not going on the camera. Otherwise, none of this means anything. So I'm going to undo these zip ties, extend this cord a little bit so we can come down and up. But I think that'll work fine. I'm going to get the placement set and we'll see what it looks like. Alright, so instead of doing the Velcro idea, I have some buttons. I decided to use those to tie it all together. I ordered a different mic cord, so I'll do a 90 down. That's sticking out a little high right now, so it kind of has a gap there, but use the button here also and do a slot rather than a hole, so that'll come off pretty easy still. And then you can put them through and just tighten it up, put that together. And now I'm working on the plastic for over the top of my monitor. So far I got it like this to where it comes around the side. Next thing I need to do is figure out where the buttons go, so I can tie this down to here and then this one across. So I'll show you how I do the buttons, and I'll link the button kit I have, but it's pretty simple really. I do a lot of leather stuff, so this comes in handy, but you got some punches and then all the pieces to a button. You can put a hole through whatever material, and I'll show you how I do that next. So I've made a couple marks on the edge, which is the Gorilla Tape, and that kind of acts as a seam because it's very strong. And that is why I use Gorilla Tape, because it's a lot stronger, it's thicker than normal duct tape, it doesn't rip as easily, and it seems to really hold that edge together nicely. So what we do first is make a hole. This kit comes with a punch that will cut your hole out to the right size for these buttons to go into. You just use a hammer for all this. That was a little bit much, but cut a hole right through it. It's the same process for leather, or say you got to replace a button on a jacket. It's the same thing. So having these buttons around is pretty handy. But puts a nice hole through it. Then we move on. We make sure we put the button on the right side because I want to go like this. So we have this would be like the face side if it was a jacket, right? For this one, we're going to do that there. And then what goes with that would be, yeah, this, which is the female end. It goes in there, and you can see what we're going to do is basically just expand that. So then we take this, there's two sides to it. This is the side for the button head. Put that in, and then we use this punch, which will spread out that rivet, basically. See there, it's spread out now, and that holds. And it could do some thicker material. We got some space there. On the main part of the jacket for the camera, I'd had doubled duct tape, and that was pretty much the right thickness, but it doesn't matter, that'll hold. And then we do the other side, which will have the male end, and then that also uses just a rivet on the back side. So these two will go together. This is the end that actually buttons. This goes inside, and we use the other punch to basically press them together. So we'll start with putting the backing through. We got to make sure we do it right. We don't want to have to undo that. So it goes on this side for the backing. Then the male end, that's going to button. And then this side has different shape to it. That'll go center on that. This will go over your male end. And then that's a nice tight fit. And that'll come around and just a snap button. So I'm going to put this on the camera and then mark our second hole, because this end here needs to come around to here, and this is for where the mount, the arm for the monitor comes up. So I've got two new marks. I left this a little bit long so that can actually get cut because our mark is up here, but we got put a hole through both of those. You can probably do both at once, honestly. If you have a leather tool that for a hole punch for like a belt, it's got different sizes. You can turn it and then you can squeeze it. I'll put a hole through two pieces of leather at once. You could do it on the camera and line them up perfectly, but this worked just fine. So the way this comes together will be around the bottom, up like that. So we'll do the male end through here. And then our female end, I guess right next to that one. That'll work. Let's go test it out on the camera. I might find out there's a couple more spots that this could use for strengthening, and we'll just put some tape along the edge for that, but I think this will work for now. Let's see how it fits here. So I'd say this would we do first. Bring the bottom up around to there. Ties the bottom together. We can bring the back around and up to this one. All right, guys, perfect. I just finished up my odd little thing on my microphone, and we got a little bit of rain to test this thing out with. So I'm just gonna set it up like I'd have it, and what I'd like to do is test out the sound, see if my microphone thing did anything. But I also kind of like to see how the rain operates with it. Now it's not sitting nicely because of my cord for my microphone here. ideally that'll be a 90 and come down, and that'll really allow this to come in a little closer. But here's my switch for power on. I apologize for the poor lighting. We got power on the camera, and then right up on top of my monitor, just can feel for the power on button there. And I really don't need my flip out screen unless I need to change settings, but at that point it really doesn't matter. So yeah, like yeah, my t-shirt there is gonna get wet, but also I want to hear if you can hear the plastic sound, because like I'm hearing the plastic sound from plastic on the rest of it, right? See our water sitting there, not bad. Nothing inside there yet, that's nice. Let's hit record, and it's starting to pick up a little bit. So let's see if we can get a little better, see what the audio is going to be like here. So of course my camera battery died just as I hit record, but we still got some heavy drips coming off this edge. So let's put it right here, make sure it's in some drips, and we will press record. Of course, rain's just about stopped, but might be getting a couple drips here and there. And it's been outside in the rain for 5 minutes. It wasn't a very heavy rain, but let's bring it inside and unpack it and see what's wet or what's not, ideally, right? All right, for starters, this electrical tape is not holding up well as the drip edge. It should be laying a little flatter, so I might do something different with that. But it didn't allow anything to come in here, so that's good. Got a little drip there, but that's nothing. This is wet. But let's get it kind of unpacked here and see. Quick and easy there. Quick and easy there once I remember how to put it on, because that one's kind of confusing. So we got some water there. I might do something with that plastic to put an edge on the front there, so it, because it's still allowed to drip right on there, so it might run under. So I might do something about that still. But the backside's dry, that's good news. I really don't know how good an idea this one was. Maybe like foam rubber or something would have been better, but it's kind of gonna be a sucker to dry out is the main thing, because it's wet on the plastic underneath. But obviously that's gonna be dry, so that's nice. And then we're gonna have to take this off. All right. Well, camera body's good. Guess my other concern was around here, but I think having the plastic over top of the monitor helped with that, so not bad. I do think maybe we'll stiffen this up with some Gorilla Tape instead of the electrical tape. But hey, good deal. I'm pretty happy with that. All right, well, obviously, after a test of this, it didn't quite work as planned, but it fit nicely. So maybe I'll put some more padding in here or something, or redesign it. But I think something thicker might work better. Or what I've seen people do is they take this off and then put plastic around the microphone itself, leave the end open, and put the dead cat back on. So we will see. All right, guys, we're gonna end the video off there. Let me know what you do different, or obviously every camera setup's gonna be a little different in how you want to cover it. But let me know any ideas you guys have. Also, the link for the buttons that I have will be in the description to Amazon. And then look forward to the videos from Antonito and Chama coming up soon. Thank you guys for watching. Catch you on the next one.